A year and a half ago, I had the privilege to sit down across from someone who I've been waiting to talk to for over years. I brought in a box about this big. I saw the patterns. I knew the truth. I stood there, I sat there, and I knew I was right. Except in that time, something changed. Even though I was telling the truth, I was not found credible. Hello, my name is Kate Julia. I'm the CEO and founder of VirWave. We are supported with UCL Hatchery. I am a board of a nonprofit in the United States that works on judicial reform. In the UK, I work on the framework for children's digital policy, well-being. And at UCL, I study how science, technology, engineering, and public policy affect our systems. I'm also a mom of two. Now, I sound pretty cool, right? Like, who would you would believe this person, right? Yeah. So here's a different introduction. Hello, my name is Kate Julia. I'm officially diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and CPTSD. So what does that mean? Well, I'm quirky, I'm loud, I am passionate about life, and I love to squeeze everything I can out of it. But sometimes it gets too rough for me. Sometimes, after living out a dream of being on a panel of women, I come home and I cry. I hold my grief and a little stuffed animal I take everywhere because of people that I miss. I want to show them, but I can't show them. And so I bring this little, it's called Prinky Peanuts from Pop Mart, and it comes with me, and we see London. And I use these tools because on a daily basis, sometimes hourly, I remember sitting in that room of something that ended up taking a part of my world away. And I keep asking myself, why did you not believe me? So, to take the next step forward, I then have to reframe that question. What are we actually measuring when we decide who to believe? Because it wasn't facts, it wasn't logic, then what was it? I've started to rethink of a way to express it for myself. We expect that we're supposed to act a certain way, say the right thing at the right time, laugh when we're supposed to laugh, smile when we have to smile. But to me, maybe this is just the myth of calm. Because right now, what we're saying is that calm presentation equals accuracy, emotional flatness equals rationality, and somehow the calmest person in the room is the one that's supposed to be the most correct. And now we might not say this out loud, but the systems that we have are built around it. If I cry, then I'm unstable. If I don't cry, I didn't care. Now, these are a couple more examples. But for me, the one that hits the most is that when I stand here and I am a mom that loves to work, somehow I'm told I don't like being a mother. But then if I don't work, I can't put food on the table, and then I become neglectful. It's the same person a different expression, a different verdict. And that's not neutrality, that is miscalibration. At UCL, we have the absolute privilege of having so much at our hands. And one of them that we have is our UCL collections. We get to go back thousands of years to see. One of my favorite things that I have seen is red rag. This is from generations ago. We're asking still today for the same rights, but maybe just a different way, right? Women with hysteria, they sent us away. If we said anything was wrong with us, our voice was silenced. But how has that still changed? Also at UCL, we have a privilege. Because I am able to stand here today. I have the accolades that I have today for people hundreds, 200, because we celebrated, 200 years ago, that stood up for others who wanted to learn more, who wanted more out of this life. And now we're able to have women and men not just study together, but still get the equivalent degrees. But Jeremy Bentham, he was loud, he was obnoxious. I mean, he was disruptive. A lot of people really did not like him in a history. But today we celebrate him, that he was a disruptor, he was an innovator, a visionary. But that's what we say today. But how do you think he was feeling when he was standing up for all of us in this room today? Autistic children are 46 times more likely to experience school distress than non-typicals. I'd like to state this fact, because why? Because we know from research we can do something different. Then why in our school system is this happening to our students? In the United States, the statistics show that 97% of kids that are reporting abuse are telling the truth, except only 4% are ever believed in our judicial system. That system is not listening, and it's choosing to actively fail. And on neurodiversity, there's studies that show we're more reputable, we're more credible. With a study in 2021, that 1,400 people rated autistic individuals as more deceptive, despite autistic people deceiving significantly less. So that means when people walk into the room, if they portray differently than what they're supposed to be portrayed as, they are not being believed. Every single time. That's what that study showed. And this is not happening. So the studies that I just talked about hit in my home. But then I go outside of my home, and you have a loop. And this is happening everywhere. We've heard about it today in other speeches. It happens in our education systems, it happens in research, startups, healthcare, and justice. We have stress, and then it goes to scrutiny, and the pressure increases, and the performance degrades, and the credibility erodes. So when someone is asking for help, and they don't get it, and at the end, the system concludes that it was right all along. I'll take you through an analogy. So we'll put our feet in the sand, and we breathe that salt air. And in front of us, we see a little tide coming through, and we can see the seashells. We can see the fish. We can see what's going on. But a little bit farther back, we see a big wave. Now we can't see underneath it, but we know that the ocean has depth. Now take that same image and put it inside of your mind. You have depth. When you walk into a room, every single one of you has something to say. You are important. But sometimes our tide's a little bit busier. We have more waves. We can't see it. The other person cannot see the depth that we have because we might portray differently than what we think that we're supposed to be portrayed as. So now we're having miscommunication. All these stats are going crazy. What's going on? How are we supposed to actually help the people that are around us? So I was stuck in this loop, and I was stuck in this loop for years. So either I could collapse into it, which I probably did a couple times. But then I needed to make a decision. And that decision for me was life. And so I needed to learn how to breathe again. I also have a background in yoga teaching and breath work. And I needed that back. I needed that part of me to be instilled in me again. But I needed to learn how to reach that. And there was nothing out there. So I developed something that I needed at that time. If we are rethinking everything, we need to rethink the systems that we are designing. We can ask questions, and these are helpful questions. And what would it look like to separate composure from credibility? What would it look like to treat stress as actual information? When someone's stressed and they look stressed, but somehow we disqualify them? Let's figure out how to regulate them before we actually evaluate them. You can do this in research. A lot of times, research does a really good job at going very, very straight, very down the line. You work on a specific group of people. But sometimes what happens, this is what we do a really good job at learning at STEEP, is that because you're helping these people, you don't realize that you're actually hurting another group of people. And that happens a lot in our judicial systems. And we can build regulation support before the evaluation moments. And if we lead, separate how someone's presence under pressure from what they're actually saying. For this, I would give an example. People will tell you what they want. Sometimes they actually just want you to write a list out. Maybe they don't want a whole slideshow. Maybe they just want a list. Maybe the other person just wants a croissant so they feel recognized and they know that you're feeding them. Like, listen to the people that you are supposed to be leading, because they will tell you the answers. In education, we can stop reading shutdown as a disengagement. I do a hard time with bright lights. We could dim the lights for students. We can make practical decisions to actually help our students. We stop diagnosing burnout as individual failure and change the system. And in legal and in healthcare, we require neurodivergent informed evaluation standards, not just guidance. So that means when I get to sit down at a desk in front of someone that I've been working for years to be able to talk to show patterns, that I would have had help for my neurodivergency because my wave was too big when trying to talk to them. I know how I break down, but I don't know how you break down. But that doesn't give me the right to judge you, but but it does give me the human right to be empathetic and to be accountable and to be there for you. So I'll do a reintroduction. Hi, I am Kate Julia. I am loud. I care deeply. I sometimes cry. If a moon is really pretty, I'm crying. I laugh awkwardly. I'm a founder who does not separate empathy from innovation. I'm the wrong person to underestimate, and I'm the right person to change the system. I am not always comfortable to listen to, but that discomfort is not the opposite of the actual truth. So for rethinking everything, calm is not proof, composure is not correctness, and tone is not truth. The myth of calm has shaped who gets believed for far too long. So join me so we can build systems that measure the actual truth.